All right, welcome to Lecture 8, Section 2.7. Okay, so we're working with solving formulas. Now, solving formulas, it's a little different than solving a regular equation because you'll have more than one variable. All right, so it can sometimes be easy to get confused. So what you want to do is really focus on the variable you're solving for. Sometimes it helps if you go through your equation and circle the variable you're solving for before you do anything. Okay, so for A, it says solve for n. So what I'm going to do is first, before I do anything, I'm just going to go ahead and figure out where n is in my equation. Well, when I look at it, n is right there. And it only appears once, which is great for us. So let me rewrite my problem. 2n equals k. Well, I know n only appeared once, so how do we get n by itself? Well, I'm just going to think, what is keeping n from being by itself? It's being multiplied by a 2. That little 2 right there. So how do I undo multiplication? Well, we divide, and we're going to divide by 2. Now you might say, but we can't divide k by 2. I don't know what that is. And that's perfectly okay, because this is just a formula. So sometimes it's a little different than an equation because you can't actually get a number answer. The main goal is to just get the variable you're solving for by itself, which we have done. All right, so for B, we're trying to solve for m. So remember, the first thing I do is I go through and figure out where m is in my equation. And it's right here. It's being multiplied to an x. So I always ask myself, what's keeping m from being by itself? Well, we have that multiplication of the x and then that addition of the b that is keeping m from being by itself. So I want to get rid of those. First thing I get rid of is the addition. So let's go ahead and do that. How do we undo addition? Well, we're subtracting. What are we subtracting? B. We don't know what b is, but that's okay. Whatever it is, I'm taking it away from this side as well as from the other side. And then you might go, but I don't know what y minus b is. And remember, that's okay. This is all symbolic. Okay, y minus b, I can't actually do the subtraction, so I'll just leave it as y minus b. Next thing to do is m still has that x being multiplied to it. Okay, so how do I undo multiplication? Well, division. Divide both sides by x. And notice I'm going to go ahead and divide this whole y minus b by x. That whole thing. Okay, and the x's cancel. And I'm left with y minus b divided by x equals m. So the question is, are we done? Well, there's nothing to add or subtract. These are all variables. I don't have anything to add or subtract, so we are done. And that's kind of the weird thing about solving formulas, because you're not adding or subtracting numbers most of the time. All right, so for C, go ahead and try C by yourself. Take a minute, pause the video, and check back in with me. All right, for C, we're asking to solve, careful now, this is something to know. We are asked to solve for capital B. So you might be tempted to say, well, B appears twice. Wrong. Careful. We're asked to solve for capital B, not lowercase b. So looking at this equation, is b by itself? Yeah, it is. Capital B is already by itself. Oops, wrong pen. Capital B is by itself, so we are actually done. It is already solved for. Awesome. Okay, so as usual, the thing with formulas is to just go ahead and first scope out where your variable is that you need and focus on getting that variable by itself. So let's look at example 2. So now we're looking at applications with formulas. So we're going to be given a formula and then we're going to be asked to kind of play around with it. Example 2. Given this formula, W equals 1.3t minus 26, where W is the wind chill, that's supposed to be wind chill, not wind chill, And T is the air temperature. We're asked to complete this table. Okay, well, this is strange. In our table, we are given our two variables. So we have W, and we also have T. How do we fill out this table? Well, we're going to use the formula we're given. We're given a formula, might as well make use of it. And for the first part of the table, we are given this T value right here, and we want to find the matching W value. How do we do that? Well, let me write out what we're trying to do first. So we are given T, and we want W. But we know how to do that with equations. You just go ahead and you're going to replace wherever we see T, which is right here, we're going to replace that with 25.2 and then solve for W. Not a bad plan. So W equals 1.36 times, and I'll input that value for T, 25.2. And now we are allowed to use our calculators, as this is the new chapter. So let's go ahead and plug that in. 1.36 times 25.2 is 34.272. And let's see, we'll just go ahead and round that out. W is approximately, let's just round to the 10th place. We're not told what to do, so I'm just going to go ahead and choose that, 8.3. All right, and then I shall go ahead and erase my side work right here. Let's go ahead and try fill out the rest of this table. So take a moment, pause the video, and try fill out the table by yourself to find the missing T value for this set right here. Okay, so you're going to be filling in W equals -38 and solving for T. Okay, so using the same equation, but this time our W value is given right here, -38. Sorry, -3.8. Okay, so go ahead, we're trying to solve for T. Where is T? Well, T is right here. Okay, and what's keeping T from being by itself is that -26 and then being multiplied by 1.36. So let's go ahead. I'm going to add 26 to both sides. Oops, wrong pen. Okay, calculating that, 26 minus 3.8, 22.2 equals 1.36 T. Now, we want to get T by itself, and what is keeping T from being by itself? Well, it's that 1.36. We'll divide both sides by 1.36. Which is a long repeating value. So we're going to go ahead and round off, as we did before, 16.3 approximately. Okay, so here's a question we are given. Which variable was easier to solve for? So take a moment, pause, and reflect back on the different solvings that we had. This one here versus this one here. Okay, which one took less time to solve for? Well, in my opinion, the one that took less time to solve for was solving for W. Why? Well, because it just took less steps. Because all we did for solving for w was we multiplied and then we subtracted. When we were solving for t, we had to do that subtraction from both sides, then we had to do that division on that side. We had to do a lot more movement on one side than the other. Okay. The steps in this one actually were really similarly close. There wasn't that much different in steps, but the thing to note and what I'm trying to get across here is that if you're already solved for the variable you're solving for, notice we already had w on this side, whereas we had t surrounded by a bunch of stuff on this side. If your variable is already solved for, it's easier to use the equation. Okay, so that's why for c, we're going to solve for t. Okay, so we're given our formula, w equals 1.36t minus 26, and we're going to solve for t. Well, where is t? T is right here. So we're going to get t by itself. Take a moment, pause the video, and try solve for t by yourself. All right, so solving for t. Let's see, we'll add 26 to both sides. And then that gives me w plus 26 equals 1.36t. Go ahead and move that over here. Well, I can't do w plus 26, so that's okay. 1.36t. T is almost by itself. We're just going to go ahead and divide both sides by 1.36. And there we go. T is now by itself. So t equals w plus 26 divided by 1.36. So now we see that t has been solved for. So we're going to use this equation that we just found out to find t when we know that w equals negative 46.9 degrees. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Thankfully, t is already solved for, so I don't have to do too much manipulating. I'll just go ahead and plug in negative 46.9 for where I see w. Okay, and I'll go ahead and solve that. So negative 46.9 plus 26 is negative 20.9, still divided by 1.36. Go ahead and do that division on my calculator. And I get a nice long decimal, which I will go ahead and round off to the 10th place, as I'm not told to do anything else. Oops, I needed an approximation symbol here. So notice this little squiggly line is the approximation symbol. I hope I've said that before. If I haven't, I now have. And there we go. Okay. So what does this mean in context of the word problem? Well, W is the wind chill, right here, and T is the air temperature. So what does this mean, our problem? Well, that the wind chill is negative 46.9 when the air temperature is negative 15.4. Wind chill is negative 46.9 according to this formula that we have. 9 degrees, and we're talking about Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit, when the air temp is negative 15.4 degrees Fahrenheit. And please notice I have that end period there and my capital letter for the beginning of my complete sentence. As always, please note when you're writing your workout for your exams, I am looking for the sentences for the word problems. Okay, this is definitely something to note. If it's a word problem, please include your sentence in your notes with that beautiful capital letter there and that lovely period, or even an exclamation point if you want. All right? And that is it.